I can share with you, I think, if Emily's not on, we will just kind of let you know what we are doing as far as MPHL testing is we have started a pooling methodology. For those communities that have a low infectivity percentage, we are able to literally pool probably 4 to 5 specimens per test. And what that allows us to do is to save on reagents and tech time. Um, and the hope is that all of the 4 or 5 specimens within that test are negative. If that test does deem positive or result as a positive, what that means is then we need to take the 4 or 5 that were on that site and go ahead and, or on that test, and we would literally test them all separately on the second run. So that allows us to go ahead and save on time. A majority of them are going to be negative. We don't use as much reagent, and again, saves on tech time. Now, when we get to some of the communities that tend to be more at high risk, we don't do that pooling. We simply test them individually. And again, that can be done on the first run or the second run. So it's worked out very well so far. It's just that we have to be very careful about how we coordinate these risk factors. And in fact, our NUlirt, if you use it and enter your specimens there, you'll see that there is a question asking, is this considered a high or a low risk? And that is now even being printed out on the labels, which allows us to see as we test right on that label. Then we can separate it. If anything says high, we know that we can only test individually, but if it's low, we are allowed to pool those tests and save on specimen reagents as well as tech time. So what we're running is anywhere from 300, I think, to 400 a day if we're able to pool most of our specimens. We do run a specimen run in the morning. Takes a good anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. Meanwhile, we start extracting and doing the second run, probably trying to get that on early afternoon. If a third run is needed, what the girls, since we only have 4 people in lab that are able to test in our department, they will maybe extract that afternoon after the second run is on. They'll extract for the third run. They might even put it on that later afternoon, evening. Unfortunately, spending sometimes 12 hours there, and then come back the next morning and we'll have a readout that next morning. So they are trying to be as efficient as they possibly can. It truly is not easy to do. So with that, I wanted also to share that we are trying to keep track of how many ordering kits will be sent out to each of you, not ordering kits, I'm sorry, collection kits. And because this has been deemed a national emergency, there are some new methodologies that we as laboratorians have to complete to get new kits. I'm going to share my, or change my screen. See if I can do this. It's called New Share, and I'm going to move over to a different type of screen. Can you all see, oops, sorry. Can you now see oh, wrong one. I didn't get it right. You are seeing one of my other lists. new share, and I want somehow here. Okay, let's do this. There. Can you all see that? It's a form. It says ICS 213RR form. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for letting me know that. All right. So with this, we want to make sure that everybody gets what they need. And we also want to make sure this gets done in a timely method. So if you are getting close to running out, or you are desperately in need of them, please, how you will do this is fill this form out. It is a fillable form, so you can simply type. And all you'll have to do is put in your, for incident name, you can simply say your location, quantity. The most we are going to, at this point, allow is 25 sets that can go out. And the reason so small is just simply because we're trying to make sure everybody gets enough. And then if you go through those 25, or if you need it for, let's say there is a National Guard site in your region and there's a large outbreak, you need more, simply let your health department, your local health department, know that. And then you would just put down collection kits under details and the date and time that you requested them. Now, the request delivery, if you could put your actual address, your street address, locate, and zip code, so that we know exactly where to send them. And then requests by person, want your name there, and chief, section chief approval can either be your lab manager, or it could be you, the person ordering on this particular ICS form. Now, if you're at all familiar with Incident Command, it's loaded with paperwork, and there's very rigid forms to follow. National Guard does this type of methodology, and that's why they're including it with us now. All right, so what will happen here is we will want you to fill this out and send it immediately to your local health department. If you don't know who that is, I will be happy to share that information. Just email me. Once you send it to them, you know what I'd recommend is that you give them a call too, to let them know it's coming their way and that you need it sent on to NPHL as soon as possible. So the person handling these forms, once your local health department approves, what they'll do is they'll send it to a DHH staff member by the name of Brittany Harrington. And I'll ask one last time, Brittany, are you on at all here this morning? All right, well, I missed her. And anyway, I'm going to go back to my, where is, here. Trying to get back to my agenda. All right, so with that, why can't I, here it is, agenda. Okay, and I'm sharing, hopefully I'm sharing that agenda one more time. Any questions on the new order form? If you're on mute, don't hesitate to unmute.
The only thing, this is Teresa, the only thing I'll say is that you guys may request a certain number of supplies, but somebody along the line may decide you're not going to get that number. So, Karen, what's the, can you elaborate on that a little bit, on how those people get notified?
Yeah, what I think will happen is that we're trying to limit to 25 tests. If you go through them all 25 collection kits, excuse me. If you go through them all one day, that's fine. You just have to fill out another form. That's, part of the process. But I was telling them if there is a desperate need, like if there's a large outbreak, they could talk to their local health department. Their local health department could even fill out this form. It may be coordinated with the National Guard, and with that, then they would allow larger amounts. And really, it's just a matter of coordinating it with your local health department. So for offsites that are, say, just experiencing normal infection rates and maybe have run out, just fill out for 25 and we'll get those to you as soon as possible. So I kind of went through, Teresa, how to fill out each of the slots. I'm unsure myself even that the slot at the where it says the chief operator, which they're supposed to sign it. I don't know if I think it's the lab who's supposed to be signing it, and then send on to their local health department. Teresa, do you know any otherwise? I think that line is box number 9 called section chief approval.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I think it's just anybody can really sign that.
Yeah.
We take our guidance off of the email that gets sent from the state with the approval.
Right.
And then what we're doing is when we send the kit back, we sign it and give you a copy.
So hopefully you've all received that email, I think on Thursday, that has the attachment of this new form. Did anybody not get that form? I will send it to you separately. If you don't remember it, I'll send it again. Anybody? Okay, or just email me at a later point, that's fine. And again, Brittany is more than willing to do this on a immediate basis so that we can get this media to you on a very timely basis. We'll use our judgment. If we can get a courier out to you, great, but if you are quite at a long distance, let's make sure that we'll make sure we get it to you maybe by FedEx, so you get it at 10:30 the next morning or something like that. Oh, and another thing I would recommend is, like I said, if you would call your local health department, tell them that you're sending this information or this form to them. In fact, when you send it to your local health department, would you also send it to our group email here at NPHL is nphl@unmc.edu. And I think if you send it to both your local health department and send it to us, that will allow us to double check. If we see that something came in, that your order came in at 9 o'clock and we haven't heard from Brittany, say like by noon, we'll make sure to put a plug in for you. So if you could do that, send it to 2 sites, not only your local health department, but NPHL, I will keep that, I'll keep a watch on that. All right, any other questions about the local health department or the collection kits and how to order them? Okay, Teresa, do you want to maybe just review for those who didn't make it to last Monday's meeting? Could you share with them the order entry into NUlirt? I could bring up my instruction sheet if you would like me to, or do you just want to talk it through?
Sure. So the way that NUlirt is now working is that there's 2 ways to get into the system. If you have a pre-existing, the best thing to do is to go to nphl.org. And then on the links on the left, there's a link that says log into NUlirt. And you should have an existing account. If you don't have an existing account, there's another link there that says sign up. And so let's say you don't have an account and you want one, or you have an account but you yourself have not signed up, the best thing to do is to use that sign up link, and those get sent out to Andy Hudson, who creates your account for you. So once you have all of your login information, then you log into NUlirt with that information. If it's an emergent situation and you don't have an account and you don't have a username, you can self-register now. So Karen, are you able to bring that up?
I was, you know, I can't find my instructions, but I don't even think I have that written up. So what I was doing is I was going to hop on to NUlirt myself. And
that's a great idea.
Yeah, maybe walk on to it myself. Let me bring up my...
All right, well, while you're doing that, I'll keep talking. So there's a way to self-register. It's very clear once you see, once Karen brings up that spot. You go in, you put in your name, your email, your facility you're associated with, and if you don't have a facility, then you use your local health department. And Karen said earlier, if you don't have a local health department or don't know who that is, then she can help you get one, because all of you should have one. And from there, you self-register. Whatever email you put in and account is where you're going to see your results. So let's say you have a patient. Okay, so here's Karen's thing. So see here, she's got an account. So she would sign in below. But where her mouse is, down below there, Karen, right, it says for immediate registration to support COVID-19 testing, you would register there. So if Karen were to click that link, it would walk you through all the information we need in order to register you. And then that account is yours, and you can go ahead and use it going forward. And anything you put in, you'll be able to see under that account, but only stuff you've put in. So it's really best to have your own username and password the way Karen's logging in here. And then, so she logs in, then she's gonna go order for the COVID-19 outbreak.
And it does take a moment, so don't be too impatient with it. It's...
Try to click it again, Karen. Oh, there we go. And it's best if you use Google Chrome. That's the best internet browser to use. So you can...
I don't think I'm on that, but that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. That might be why it's kind of laggy. It's either Chrome or Edge are the 2 best to use.
Okay.
So you can see here we've got a couple of parameters as far as what demographic that resident or patient might be part of. And so you would select whatever's applicable there. And then if you're a Sentinel provider, so you know if you're a Sentinel provider because you get flu kits each year, and the Sentinel providers are in there. So you would just click no unless you know you're a Sentinel provider. So Banner Medical Group and Ogallala is a Sentinel provider. So the nice thing is if your name's not on that list, then just select no as well. And then there's another thing here, and again, this wouldn't look this way if she was in Chrome.
Yeah.
But this is just a yes or no question. And so the likelihood, this is just trying to figure out, are you high risk or low risk? Because that's how they determine, I think, the testing priority or pooling or something along those lines. Then you just put in your basic patient information here. And Karen can just kind of fill that out.
And you've got ethnicity and race somewhat separated, so you can make the choices there. We also would like to know female or male, but if they're not willing to give it, you are allowed to choose other for gender. And then as you...
And that's biological race. So even if they are affiliated or they...
Transgender.
Yeah, or that sort of thing, then you would still put biological race. And then we have to have address and phone number and zip. The nice thing is if you put in the zip, it fills in, and you have to put the phone number in a specific format, otherwise it'll tell you it's wrong. So.
Oh, you can't just put in numbers?
You can, but then you have to put dashes. You don't have to put the bracket like you're doing there.
Okay.
You would put 402 777 7777 or something. Yeah, that's fine. 402 dash. Whatever you want to do there.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. And then zip, you can just use UNMC 68106. And then when you tab, it should fill everything out for you. So you're good to go.
See, isn't that pretty cool? I love this part.
Oh, it's I get so happy when I get to that part.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you scroll down here, and this is where you're going to put in your ordering provider. If your ordering provider is not listed, please go ahead and put it in the bottom there for provider first and last name. But the best thing to do is select a provider here.
So you can actually enter somebody in here?
Nope, you have to put it, you have to select nobody and then down in the next field.
Okay, right here.
Yep, that's where you would put somebody in.
Okay.
Dr. Who, okay. And then it's going to ask you to select your ordering site, which again is wherever you're ordering from, or if you don't have a site, it's going to be your local health department. So in this case, I guess we put Douglas County in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can leave ordering provider first and last blank because you may have selected a provider there, but you may have to put a last name there, Karen.
Oh, where? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then select an account. Again, this is where it's going to put the results. So go ahead and select Douglas County Health Department again. It's your very first one there.
Oh, sorry.
These are not alphabetized for whatever reason. So it looks like the list is alphabetized, but then once you get towards the end, it's not alphabetized. We're going to work on that this week.
Interesting.
But for now, and when you're in Chrome, you can start typing a few letters, and it'll
come up. Okay.
Something will come up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then collect date and time.
And you just hit the calendar, and then your time is automatically in there. And then the last thing you need to fill in, if you need this is not required, but if you want to put your own accession number or MRN number, this is what your hospital identification number is for your patient. And that's explained here. So.
Yep. And then it talks about, what that is. Perfect.
Okay.
And so a lot of sites like to put in their own MRN number. So when I get Betty Smith's results back, that MRN is going to be displayed there, and I can easily match up Betty Smith with Betty Smith. So it is a nice feature. And then you select that green button.
Oh, see, it tells me.
Yep, your phone number's not in the right.
So just do it right the first time. And of course, it's not behaving well because I am in Internet Explorer. So it has to have the dashes, and I think I have one too many. Okay, let's try again. You'd think I'd have this down by now, huh?
And then it says, this is important to read. So it says, okay, now you need to review your order and then click submit. So it's not submitted yet.
Right.
So click close now.
And double check your spellings, because that is sometimes a problem. And then I don't want a specimen to be rejected because we don't have the right birth date, or maybe right name, or the name's misspelled. So yeah, right. So
And then
once,
you can see here, you should always have 3 AOE answers. If you didn't, that means you didn't hit one. And so Karen wasn't able to select high or low risk, so that's why it only has 2. So we'll surpass it for now, but you should have 3 AOE answers.
okay.
And then you go ahead and submit it. And then it talks through, okay, you need to print this form, and then print the inventory form.
And the inventory form is like a manifest or what do you call it? List?
It's called a batch list.
Batch list, yeah. Okay.
Okay, great. And then you would hit close.
Okay. I don't know if everybody on this call is seeing when that box comes up.
She's getting her fit testing. Okay, great. So then, if you have another patient to enter, you can just hit go on to the top there, Karen.
Okay.
You're just going to hit COVID-19 again. Yep. And then order. Oh.
Well, because I'm on the wrong one, I have to hit home, but usually you'd be able to do it. So, yep, and then just start the reorder process. All right. So, is there anything else we need to go through at this point? Any questions from the audience? Or
Karen, do you want to show them how to how to look at their results, or?
Certainly. I'm not as familiar with that. So
I'll come get her. Yeah, come get her. She would go out into the circle drive.
Okay, she said she'll come get you if you want to just leave.
Okay, great. So yep, you would just select all results there.
And it won't let me go because I'm on the wrong.
Oh, sure. So that's what you would do to look up your results, and there'll be an option there to either search by patient name or order. So there it goes. So you can see here, there you can toggle that, and don't scroll down any, Karen, because we don't want to get anybody's information, but
yeah,
you can see where it says patient name in the green, the teal there.
Mm-hmm.
You can toggle.
Yeah, I think it would have brought up just the tests. I can't tell.
Oh, perfect. So you can toggle patient name, though, and look at your ordering side or whatever you need to do there. So that's how you get your results.
Yeah.
If they're showing pending and it's been longer than 48 hours, please give client services a phone call, because we want to just make sure where we're at with the process.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I would say.
Okay.
I'm going to review.
Teresa, thank you for walking us through that. I really like the option where you don't even have to sign up anymore. You can actually just log right on with that new feature on the login page. So if anybody has not used NUlirt yet, we highly recommend it. Yes, maybe the first time you go through it, it is a little tricky. Don't hesitate to call me, my cell phone, as I'm home now, but I certainly would be happy to walk you through it. But once you get used to it, you can really fly through it, and I like it. It's pretty easy. So, Teresa, thank you much for doing that. I'm going to go ahead. Does anybody have any other questions for Teresa?
Hey, Karen, this is Kim at Faith Regional. I have a question. So
yeah.
we're getting, like, our local health department is faxing us the orders to collect one of these, and our offsite clinic is collecting and sending them in. So should I take that order that they've filled out and sent to me and just input it into NUlirt? I mean, is that the preference? Or if they've already filled out the paper, we leave it on the paper?
You know, that's totally up to you. If you are horribly swamped, we would understand. But if you can do it, I would say that would save our client services, who are very overwhelmed right now too, of course, would save them time too. So if you could, but here's the trick. You really do need to make sure that your physician or your local health department, who's ever filling these out, share all that relevant information. So if you, that relevant information is on our COVID requisition. So if that's the one they're using, that's great.
Well, I don't think we're always getting that new one that's specific to COVID.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
and then as far as for me to see results, can I only see the results of the ones that I myself put that order in, or if I've got somebody else
like your health
putting those orders in NUlirt, can we both see them since it's under
Faith Regional?
Under Faith Regional, or if I put our local health department instead of Faith Regional, does that screw it up?
That's a Teresa question. Are you still on?
Oh,
Teresa, she was just asking, let's say,
yep, I heard. Yeah, I got it. I think, yeah. So, as long as they're entered under Faith Regional's account, and then you should don't get the patient.
Oh, Teresa, you're cutting out a little bit.
Entering on, if it's not clear for the health department.
For Teresa, for some reason we lost you there. It was just cutting out. Could you repeat? Huh. Well, sorry, we may have lost her. Teresa? All right. Well, I think what she was saying, Jolene, is that, yeah, you should be able to see it as long as you're under the facility name. You should be able to bring it up even though somebody else had actually entered. So. Okay.
So if it's our local health department is mandating it, it's okay to still put under Faith Regional. I don't need to put them as the originator since the specimen came from us. Yeah,
if the specimen came from you, go ahead and put yours.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. And then I think there's a place down below that also asks you what health department, and see then the results go direct or go to both you and your health department.
Hey, sorry, I had lost the call. Did you guys hear what I had said?
You cut out at the very, or in the middle of it, but if we understood your gist, thank you for calling back. But from what I understood, if Jolene calls in, then, or excuse me, if Jolene enters it, but somebody else is looking up results because they're both under Faith Regional, they can see it.
Yes, anybody under Faith Regional, as long as it was entered under that ordering site as Faith Regional, then you should see it. If you self-register though, and you don't appoint and you're not registered with Andy Hudson through that form that you have to fill out on the NPHL website, then you will only see your own. But I think it was Kim that was asking, or Jolene. I'm sure you guys are registered with NUlirt, so you should see everything under Faith Regional.
Did that answer your question?
It does. I'm not signed up with Andy, so I better get that in gear.
All right. Yeah, just to double check. So, and Andy only takes about 5 minutes, seriously. If you catch her during the day, she'll get it to you right away. So, any other questions?
Hey, Karen, this is Doug in Ogallala. I've got 2 questions. I'm not sure if this is the right point in the agenda to ask them, but I'll throw them out there and you can address them whenever it comes around. On the first question, are you guys testing on weekends? I didn't catch that. I'm sorry if I missed that. And then the second question is, because we get a lot of truckers and a lot of people from out of state up here.
Right.
are you accepting specimens from patients that their place of residence is outside of Nebraska, like if they are in Kansas or Arkansas?
Ooh, good question. Well, to answer your first question, Doug, I pretty much know that, yes, our lab is testing weekends as well, both Saturday and Sunday.
Karen, can you hear me?
Yeah, who is this?
This is Emily. I got on late. I apologize. I can help you out with this one.
Yes, please do.
We are testing. This is Emily. I'm the supervisor of the Nebraska Public Health Lab. Good morning, everyone. My apologies for being late earlier.
That's right.
I do want to let everyone know we are testing weekends right now. So we are doing 7 days a week of testing, and we currently do not have a backlog. So once it is received at Nebraska Public Health Laboratories, we are able to turn around those results within 24 hours. And then to answer your second question, yes, we are testing people from out of state. We are helping, of course, this is a situation that is affecting the entire nation, and we are helping our fellow public health partners in testing anyone that is seen in a Nebraska clinic.
That's good news. Thank you so much for your answer.
You're very welcome.
Emily, I'm so glad you're on. Thank you. So, yes, they even worked Easter morning. So I hope the Easter Bunny visited them yesterday. Did they, Emily?
Well, we decided to draw on our mask yesterday morning, and so we had 4 little bunnies in the lab based on the nice little bunny teeth we had on our masks.
I love it. I'm glad to hear that. So what we did, Emily, since you just hopped on, Teresa has kind of walked us through how to order in NUlirt, which was great because we could get that up on the screen. And it was pretty cool to see that step by step. There is written instructions that I've sent out to all the laboratories too. So if I should get that on our website so that you can get it from there as well. So with that, I think where we are in our agenda now, we only have a couple more minutes, but I don't envision too many more things to go through. I wanted to cover real quickly, if Teresa, if you're still on, ordering couriers. You know, really what you need to do is to arrange a courier to pick up your specimens if you don't already have a routine courier. Some of you do have couriers that come through once or twice a day. But if you do not have that, then you'll have to call for that courier. Now, it's pretty easy if you're on the eastern side of Nebraska, but I do admit western side unfortunately doesn't have near as many courier routes, and we apologize for that. On the weekends, especially problematic, but we try in any way, shape, or form to help you out.
So let me talk through, Karen, do you mind if I say a little something about
please.
that? So this is Teresa again. We worked with Robin Williams and Karen this whole past week, and we got a really great document that I think, has that been sent out yet, Karen?
No, because I've asked them to put a few, or asked Anna Carpenter to add just a few more routes on there. And once, yeah, once that's up, I will definitely add it to our website today, so it's available to everybody. I think it's an excellent little chart. It'll tell you what our routine couriers are. So let's say, for instance, you have a, well, Teresa, you explain how to hook up with our couriers.
Okay, sure. So here's how it will work is that you call our clients. If you have a normal routine courier, we ask you to send the sample with that courier. If you are affiliated with one of our partner laboratories, so Pathology Services, Kearney, Physicians Lab, I'm sure there's others I'm forgetting. Anybody besides LabCorp and Quest, they have said that they are going to work with us, CHI, Methodist, they're going to work with us to help get the samples back to us. So they've got spots in their laboratories where if they see your guys' samples, they're putting them in that spot, and then we have a normal courier that goes and picks up those spots. LabCorp and Quest, unfortunately, won't pick anything up unless they're going to do that testing. So it's mainly those clients that we have to kind of work with. And then, like Karen said, there's a weekend problem because we don't go to all sites every single weekend. So what we did is we put together this document. The document spells out what our client services department will ask you. They'll ask you who your normal reference lab is. They know if your LabCorp request, then they need to ask the urgency of the pickup. And then they need to ask if you're willing to drive your sample to one of our hub locations. And we put about 10 different hospital hub locations into the document, and we provided how you would send your employee to pick or to deliver that sample, and when that sample would make it back to UNMC to be tested.
Yes, thank you. We'll get that out on the mphl.org website today. The other thing I want to mention is that if Sunday is problematic, do remember you've got 3 days in which to get that specimen at refrigerator temperature to MPHL. So it could be something as simple as just refrigerating it Sunday night, and that would allow your the courier to be picked up the next day. So, any other questions about couriers?
So I was thinking of trying to give the scale so it's the grandmother or Colin.
Hearing none, I'll move on. I wanted to just bring up biosafety in the clinical laboratory. I wanted to see how you all are with PPE. If you have run out of PPE, I wanted to see if you have any alternate options or if you are in need of PPE. I would like to hear from you. It would be something that we could do to help you out. I just want to make sure that when you're working with the specimen, and do remember the most critical times of working with these specimens is if you're actually doing some sort of aerosolizing testing or steps, process with it. So for instance, if you're setting up the respiratory pathogen panel, you've got some aerosolizing steps there. You probably need to be in a biosafety cabinet along with wearing not only lab coat and gloves, you should probably be wearing some sort of face protection. Especially if you do aerosolization outside of the biosafety cabinet, we really recommend the N95 mask. And I realize that a lot of clinical laboratories don't use that N95 mask anymore. So that means that you should have some other means of protection, be it a simple desk or cabinet top, what do you call it, a hard shield of some sort, goggles, the whole 2 bits. So does anybody have questions about your safety within your laboratory?
I was just not watching anything on Facebook.
Does anybody have questions about just simply donning and doffing your PPE? Are you using the correct means of donning and doffing your gloves, making sure that you take your time to pull your gloves off, that you are not just quickly doing it and shooting them into a bio or a waste basket. We do want to make sure that if there's anything on your gloves that you do the glove in glove technique and then gently drop them into the waste container. Same way, did you know that there is a very specific methodology of taking off your N95 or your surgical mask? You just don't want to pull them off because you could possibly touch the front of that mask. So I could share with you on our website some videos that literally show you how to carefully take off your N95 and how to store it if you want to reuse it. So, any other questions, not only about biosafety? I'm going to do an open mic now. If you have any suggestions, complaints, please share them with us.
Right. And her last. I know, her mom and dad, Mark and I, and her sister. That's it. There you go. I know. That's what I said. Right.
All right, hearing none. I forgot to mention on last Monday's meeting that both the LPX and the challenge set are going to be delayed 2 months. Normally LPX is sent out in April, May, June. So it's either 2 months or 3 months. So those will be going out both later. And then that means that our fall one will go out 2 months late as need be. So don't have any other future trainings scheduled yet, but if you need something packaging and shipping on a personal basis, I'd be happy to set something up. I'm sure you're all a little busy though, so that's why I've kind of held off in scheduling any training at this point. I also think that as far as scheduling our statewide lab partnership meeting, that we will continue to do this next Monday. I want to make sure that we're available and can answer your questions because I think Nebraska is not yet peaked yet, even though New York and California have seen a decrease now and they're just starting to get over their peak. I don't think we've peaked yet. So it'll be interesting to see. I want to make sure that we're available, so I will schedule another meeting next week. Any last minute questions? All right. All right, hearing none, I'll thank you all for your time and have a good Monday then. Goodbye now. And thank you for your help, everyone.